Welcome back, everyone, to Tops, the journey where we uncover the untold stories of the world's most mysterious gemstones, the stories no one ever dares to tell. Today, we're entering a chapter the gem world doesn't want you to see, a hidden side of beauty, where sparkle meets downfall, and where a single mistake could cost you thousands of dollars. Because these aren't just pretty stones. They're investments, dreams, and sometimes illusions. In this special episode, we'll reveal 15 gemstones predicted to lose their value in 2026, and the shocking truth behind why collectors, investors, and even jewelers are quietly stepping back. Some of these gems once sold for more than gold. Others were worshipped like sacred relics. But today, they're on the edge of collapse, and the stone ranked number one, once worth the price of a car per gram, is now being sold in online markets for less than a cup of coffee. But there's something even stranger about it, and you'll understand why it became the most dangerous investment in modern gem history when you see it at the end of this video. So don't skip a second, because if you're buying, collecting, or even thinking about investing in gemstones, missing this list could mean investing in the wrong stone at the wrong time. If this is your first time here, welcome to Tops, the place where we explore the forgotten, the rare, and the stories buried deep beneath the earth. Make sure to like this video and subscribe so you don't miss the next chapter of our journey into the secret world of gems. And if you feel this could be the beginning of something new, a new way of seeing beauty and truth, leave a comment below that says, "I like this video so I know you're walking beside me on this journey." Stay until the end, because the number one gemstone on this list might already be in your collection. And when you hear its story, you'll never look at it the same way again. And if you're busy right now, save this video, because what's coming next is a fascinating, eye-opening journey into the hidden side of gemstones, a journey that might change the way you see value itself. Number 15, Aquamarine, the ocean gem that's losing its depth. Beneath the cold museum lights, a pale blue crystal gleams like a piece of the sea trapped in stone, calm, silent, eternal. But don't let that serenity deceive you. For nearly a century, aquamarine has been worshipped as the breath of the ocean, a gem of clarity and calm favored by sailors and royals alike. Yet as we approach 2026, the value of the asset is plunging faster than anyone could have predicted. And if you own one, what you're about to hear may completely change the way you see this gemstone. Aquamarine belongs to the beryl family, the same bloodline as emerald, morganite, and heliodor. Its tranquil hue comes from traces of iron, not from copper or titanium as many once believed. In its raw form, it grows as tall, six-sided prisms, pure and transparent, like groundwater sealed for millions of years inside granite veins. Decades ago, the finest stones, the legendary Santa Maria aquamarines from Brazil, shone with a deep oceanic blue touched by gray. So rare they could fetch up to $3,000 per carat. They were gemstones of poets, queens, and collectors. But in 2026, technology has rewritten the story. Laboratories in Shenzhen and Bangkok can now transform cheap, colorless beryl into perfect aquamarine blue through controlled heat and chemical treatments. These synthetic stones are flawless, affordable, and nearly impossible to distinguish from the natural ones, even under a jeweler's loupe. And when perfection becomes mass-produced, rarity dies. Flooded markets, collapsing trust, and falling demand have turned what was once a gem of the sea into a stone of uncertainty. Today, commercial-grade aquamarine jewelry sells for under $30 a carat, a fraction of its former glory. If you once believed aquamarine carried peace, clarity, or emotional balance, ask yourself, do you still feel that same energy now? If this revelation surprised you, leave a comment below. Because in the world of gemstones, value isn't determined by color or clarity, it's determined by belief. And when belief fades, even the clearest stone becomes invisible. So tell me this. Which gemstone do you think could outshine diamonds in 2026? Spinel, red beryl, or Paraiba tourmaline? Share your thoughts below, and if you found this story eye-opening, spread it to gem lover communities on Facebook or Reddit. Because together, we might uncover what actual value really means. Number 14. Apatite, the neon stone losing its spark. It was once called the gemstone of light, the electric blue mineral that captured the hearts of collectors and spiritual healers alike. Under studio lights, apatite burns with a glow so vivid it looks alive, almost supernatural. But behind that hypnotic color lies a quiet truth. In 2026, its fire is fading fast. Apatite is a calcium phosphate mineral, fragile, soft, and surprisingly common in the Earth's crust. For decades, it was overlooked, dismissed as a collector's curiosity. That all changed around 2020, when the neon blue apatites from Madagascar and Brazil began to flood social media. Influencers called it the next Paraiba, promising power, clarity, and manifestation. Overnight, prices doubled. Gem shows ran out of supply. Everyone wanted that tropical glow. But markets built on trends always collapse faster than they rise. By 2024, labs had learned to enhance ordinary apatite with heat and dye, pushing its color into impossible shades of turquoise and neon green. Sellers labeled them rare and natural, while factories quietly produced thousands of identical gems every week. Collectors soon noticed. The colors looked too perfect, the energy too artificial. Trust began to crumble. The very quality that made apatite famous, its color, became the reason it fell. Even natural stones couldn't escape the wave. Their softness made them easy to scratch and dull over time, leading jewelers to turn away from using them in rings or bracelets. Retail prices, once hovering near $200 per carat, have now dropped below $40, and some wholesalers predict they'll sink further as consumer interest shifts to more durable gems like spinel and tourmaline. If you've ever held an apatite under sunlight and felt its glow vibrate through your fingers, tell me, do you still feel that same spark today? Leave a comment if this stone surprised you, because its story says something bigger. When beauty becomes a trend, it stops being timeless. And as we move deeper into 2026, the question remains, which gemstone will fall next? And which one will rise to take its place? Share your thoughts, and if you found this story worth telling, spread it to gem communities on Facebook or Reddit. Somewhere out there, another collector might be holding a stone whose time is running out. Number 13. Amethyst, the royal stone that lost its throne. For centuries, amethyst reigned as the gem of kings and bishops. The purple flame of the earth, believed to guard the mind against chaos and temptation. But in 2026, that royal crown is slipping. What was once a symbol of nobility has become so common that it now fills souvenir shops, not treasure chests. Amethyst is a variety of quartz, its violet color born from iron impurities exposed to natural radiation deep underground. Each crystal once took millions of years to form in ancient volcanic caverns. The finest specimens from Uruguay and Zambia glowed with velvety purple and flashes of red fire, stones worthy of cathedrals and crowns. But today, the story has changed. With Brazil mining amethyst on an industrial scale and new deposits found in Africa and Madagascar, supply has exploded. At the same time, synthetic amethyst, grown in laboratories for just a few dollars per carat, has flooded the global market. Even experts now struggle to tell the difference without advanced instruments. Once selling for hundreds per carat, commercial amethyst now trades for less than the price of a cup of coffee. Its mythic energy, once said to calm the mind and sharpen intuition, has been drowned by mass production and marketing fatigue. What used to be a stone of meditation has become a decoration in gift shops. If you've ever worn an amethyst ring or pendant believing in its power of clarity and protection, ask yourself, does it still hold that same meaning for you today? Please leave your thoughts in the comments, because every fall from grace carries a lesson. Even the most sacred stones can lose their aura when rarity disappears. So the question remains, which gemstone will fall next, and which one will rise to take its place in 2026? Share your ideas below, and if this story intrigued you, pass it along to gem communities on Facebook or Reddit. Because the fall of amethyst is more than a market crash. It's a reminder that beauty, like belief, is never permanent. Number 12, Labradorite, the aurora stone that's losing its magic. At first glance, it's breathtaking, a stone that seems to hold the northern lights inside. When you tilt it, flashes of blue, green, and gold dance across its surface like frozen lightning. For years, Labradorite was known as the stone of transformation, a gem said to awaken inner power and creativity. But as we move into 2026, its once mystical glow is fading from both the market and the minds of collectors. Labradorite was first discovered in the icy lands of Labrador, Canada, where Inuit legends said it was a fragment of the aurora borealis trapped in rock. Later, deposits in Madagascar and Finland brought it to global attention. Jewelers adored it for that elusive light, a phenomenon called labradorescence, shimmering from deep within each polished face. No two stones looked the same. Everyone carried its own tiny universe of color. But the very beauty that made it famous has become its undoing. By 2024, mass mining in Madagascar and India turned Labradorite from a rare mystical treasure into a standard accessory. Factories began cutting thin, low-grade slabs for bracelets and pendants, flooding online stores with millions of nearly identical pieces. The magic of uniqueness vanished. At the same time, the spiritual crystal trend that once boosted Labradorite's fame has shifted. The new generation of collectors is turning toward rarer, cleaner, more transparent gems. Moonstone, sunstone, and spinel, leaving Labradorite behind as a relic of the 2020s. Even high-quality stones, once priced at $100 per carat, now struggle to sell above $25 per carat. For a stone once believed to ignite the fire within, its commercial flame is quietly dying. If you've ever held a Labradorite and felt its light pulse beneath your fingers, tell me, do you still sense that same energy now? Write your thoughts in the comments, because maybe the fall of Labradorite isn't just about market value. It's about how easily we trade mystery for mass production. And here's the question that still glows beneath the surface. In 2026, which gemstone will capture the world's imagination next? Moonstone, sunstone, or something we haven't yet seen? Share your opinion below and pass this story to gem communities on Facebook or Reddit, because somewhere out there, another stone is waiting for its rise, while this one slowly fades into the dark. Number 11. Obsidian, the volcanic mirror that shattered its own legend. It was once the stone of warriors and shamans, a black glass born from fire, sharp enough to cut steel and mystical enough to reflect the soul. For centuries, obsidian was treated with awe, the mirror of truth, forged by volcanoes and cooled by the breath of the earth itself. But in 2026, this ancient gem faces a truth of its own. Its legend is collapsing under the weight of mass production and imitation. Obsidian is not a crystal, but a natural volcanic glass, created when molten lava cools so quickly that minerals have no time to form. In its pure form, it's glossy black, but trace elements can turn it golden, rainbow-colored, or even snow-speckled. Ancient civilizations carved it into sacred blades and scrying mirrors, believing it could pierce the veil between worlds. The Aztecs and Mayans used it in rituals. Modern collectors prized it for protection and grounding energy. But beauty that becomes too easy to find stops feeling sacred. Over the last decade, quarries in Mexico, Indonesia, and China have flooded the market with low-grade, machine-cut obsidian. At the same time, glass factories began producing synthetic obsidian, identical in appearance, but without origin, history, or spirit. Sellers dyed ordinary glass black or gold, passed it off as rainbow or gold-sheen obsidian, and sold it by the ton. What was once a gem of the gods became a souvenir, a dollar store imitation of itself. The price crash followed swiftly. Genuine obsidian used to command around $80 to $100 per piece for high polish and origin certification. By 2026, even large, flawless specimens can barely fetch $10 to $15. Its spiritual market is vanishing too, as younger audiences shift toward brighter, rarer crystals like Moldavite or angel aura quartz. If you've ever gazed into an obsidian mirror and felt its silent depth staring back, tell me, do you still feel its power today? Or has it become just another dark stone on the shelf? Write your thoughts in the comments, because in the story of obsidian, we see how even a gem born of fire can cool into obscurity. And as we continue our journey through the stones of 2026, ask yourself this: which gem will burn brightest next, and which will be buried by its own reflection? Share your thoughts and spread this video across gem communities on Facebook or Reddit. Because the fall of obsidian isn't just about price, it's about what happens when the ancient meets the artificial and loses. Number 10. Angel Aura Quartz, the artificial angel that fell from grace. It looks ethereal, shimmering like frost-covered glass, glowing with pastel rainbows that seem to come from another world. For years, Angel Aura Quartz was adored by collectors, healers, and influencers alike. The crystal of angels, said to lift vibration and connect the spirit to light. But in 2026, its wings had finally melted. What was once a symbol of purity and peace has become the face of everything fake in the gemstone market. Angel Aura Quartz isn't born that way. It starts as ordinary clear quartz, one of the most common minerals on Earth. The illusion of heaven is created in a vacuum chamber, where quartz is coated with vaporized metals such as platinum, silver, or titanium. The result is stunning, an iridescent rainbow sheen, smooth as glass and hypnotic under the sun. When it first appeared in the 1980s, it felt like alchemy, a fusion of science and spirituality. But by the 2020s, that magic had become mass production. Factories in China, India, and Thailand began coating thousands of cheap quartz pieces every day, labeling them angelic, cosmic, or ascension stones. Sellers promised divine energy, while influencers filled TikTok and Instagram with glowing crystals under neon lights. And people bought in, until they realized the truth, that the color wasn't nature's gift, but industrial vapor on a rock. By 2026, the illusion will have worn thin. The price of Angel Aura Quartz has fallen by more than 80%. Once selling for $100 per piece, it now struggles to reach $15 to $20 per piece. Collectors are turning away, calling it manufactured spirituality. Even energy healers are abandoning it for natural stones like celestite or Lemurian quartz, gems untouched by human hands. If you've ever held an angel aura and felt its soft glow calm your mind, tell me honestly. Do you still think it's light, knowing how it's made? Write your thoughts in the comments below, because sometimes beauty loses its meaning when it stops being real. And as we descend deeper into the list of gemstones predicted to crash in 2026, one question remains: is the age of artificial beauty finally ending? Share this story with other gem enthusiasts on Facebook or Reddit and join the conversation. Because the fall of Angel Aura Quartz isn't just about money. It's a reflection of our own hunger for perfection and how easily illusion can replace the truth. Number 9. Selenite, the light stone. That dimmed too soon, it was once called the crystal of light, a bridge between the earth and the heavens, pure, translucent, and calming to the soul. Selenite, named after Selene, the Greek goddess of the moon, became the favorite of spiritual healers and meditation circles worldwide. Its soft glow was said to cleanse negative energy, clear the mind, and connect one's spirit to higher realms. But as we approach 2026, that divine glow is fading. What used to feel sacred now feels disposable. Selenite is a form of gypsum, a mineral so soft it can be scratched with a fingernail. It forms in desert caves and evaporate beds, growing into long, milky white wands that almost seem to glow from within. In the early 2000s, it exploded in popularity as the must-have crystal for spiritual cleansing. Stores sold towers, lamps, and polished slabs that bathe homes in gentle white light. The message was simple: bring the moon's energy indoors. But as with every trend, beauty met mass production. Mines in Morocco and Mexico began exporting selenite by the ton. Factories turned it into cheap decor: night lamps, candle holders, even cell phone stands. The stone that once symbolized purity became an industrial product, cut, shaped, and packaged for impulse buys on Amazon and TikTok shops. As consumers discovered its fragility, that it dissolves in water and crumbles easily, disappointment followed. Reviews called it powdery, fragile, and fake energy. The crash was inevitable. prices dropped by more than 70%. Retailers began bundling selenite as gifts in crystal sets, and energy workers shifted to harder, longer-lasting stones like satin spar or howlite. The light stone that once illuminated meditation rooms now lies forgotten on dusty shelves, its once heavenly glow dulled by overexposure. If you've ever held a piece of selenite and felt its calm wash over you, tell me, does it still hold that same energy, or has its light gone out? Leave a comment and share your thoughts, because maybe this fall isn't about selenite at all, but about how quickly we turn the sacred into the ordinary. And as we move closer to the top of this list, one question remains: can any crystal truly stay divine once it becomes a trend? Please share this story in your favorite gemstone group on Facebook or Reddit, and let's see what the crystal community believes. Because the fall of selenite is more than a market shift. It's a lesson about what happens when spiritual light meets the machinery of mass production. Number 8, Malachite, the green stone that poisoned its own market. Once upon a time, Malachite was the stone of emperors and protectors, the gem that shimmered like the forests of ancient earth, wrapped in hypnotic green bands. From Egyptian temples to Russian palaces, it symbolized wealth, transformation, and protection from evil spirits. But in 2026, this royal gem faces a harsh truth. Its beauty has been cloned, copied, and counterfeited so thoroughly that even the real stone has lost its throne. Malachite is a copper carbonate mineral formed near the surface of copper deposits where water and minerals mix to create its signature pattern. Deep emerald layers swirling into mint green rivers. Each piece is unique, a living painting from the earth itself. For centuries, it was carved into vases, jewelry, and even palace columns. Authentic malachite was once a mark of distinction, and a single high-quality cabochon could fetch hundreds of dollars. But in the last few years, the market has turned toxic. Literally, factories in China and Southeast Asia now flood the world with fake malachite, made from dyed resin or powdered stone mixed with polymer. These imitations are bright, glossy, and perfect. Too perfect. They sell for a few dollars, replacing genuine specimens that took millennia to form. The problem? Most buyers can't tell the difference. Even major retailers and online platforms list resin imitations as natural malachite. Collectors and energy healers began to lose faith. The market's trust, once its greatest strength, evaporated. Real miners in Congo, Russia, and Namibia now struggle to sell genuine stones, while mass-produced fakes dominate shelves and feed algorithms. By 2026, experts estimate that over 80% of malachite jewelry on the market is synthetic, and prices for natural malachite have dropped by nearly 60%. And then there's the irony. Malachite itself is mildly toxic when cut or polished, requiring care and expertise. But fake resin malachite, completely safe. So people choose comfort over authenticity. And in doing so, they bury the real one. If you've ever owned a malachite pendant, run your fingers over its velvet-like surface, and believed in its power of transformation, tell me, do you still feel that energy now? Or has the magic vanished with the trust? Leave your thoughts below, because malachite's fall isn't just about price. It's about what happens when imitation becomes the new reality. And as we climb higher on this list, ask yourself, in a world where fakes shine brighter than the real, can any gemstone survive without truth? Share this story to gem communities on Facebook or Reddit, and let's see how many can still tell the difference between what's beautiful and what's real. Number 7, turquoise, the sky stone that fell from the clouds. For thousands of years, turquoise was the color of heaven, worn by pharaohs, Native American chiefs, and travelers who believed it protected them from misfortune. Its soft blue shimmer, kissed by veins of copper and iron, symbolized peace, truth, and skyborne power. But in 2026, that ancient sky has cracked. What was once sacred has become synthetic, and the market for turquoise is collapsing faster than ever before. Turquoise forms in desert regions, where copper-rich water seeps through rock and slowly crystallizes over centuries. The best stones from Iran's Nishapur mines or Arizona's Sleeping Beauty deposit were prized for their perfect robin's egg blue and silky polish. Authentic natural turquoise was rare, fragile, and valuable, a gem that connected the earth to the heavens. Then came the flood. Factories across China began producing reconstituted turquoise, a mixture of powdered stone, resin, and dye, pressed and polished to mimic perfection. Some even created block turquoise, molded entirely from plastic. To the naked eye, it looked flawless, but to gemologists, it was heartbreak. Genuine stones became indistinguishable from fakes, and prices began to sink. By 2025, over 90% of turquoise on the market was either dyed howlite or resin composite. Collectors stopped buying. Jewelers switched to Amazonite or chrysocolla. Even Native American artisans, who once carved it into spiritual jewelry, began warning buyers that the real sky stone is disappearing. And as the truth spread, turquoise's spiritual and financial value crashed. Today, commercial pieces that once sold for $200 now struggle to reach $20. If you've ever worn turquoise and felt its calm, sky-like energy resting against your skin, ask yourself, do you still feel that same connection now? Or has it been clouded by imitation? Write your thoughts in the comments, because the story of turquoise isn't just about a market collapse. It's about the fading boundary between the natural and the artificial. And as we move toward the next gemstone on this list, one question rises from the dust. When the sky stone falls, what will replace the color of heaven? Share this story in gem and jewelry communities on Facebook or Reddit, because somewhere, someone still believes their turquoise is authentic. And maybe that belief is the last thing keeping its light alive. Number 6, Larimar. The Atlantis stone that sank beneath its own myth. There was a time when Larimar was treated like a miracle, a blue gem said to carry the energy of Atlantis itself. With swirls of white and sea blue blending like ocean currents frozen in stone, it became the darling of crystal healers and spiritual travelers. Every pendant, every polished cabochon seemed to whisper of lost civilizations in divine calm. But as 2026 approaches, the myth is sinking, and with it, Larimar's value. Discovered in the Dominican Republic in 1974, Larimar exists in only one place on Earth, a single volcanic mountain range near Barahona. That rarity made it irresistible. By the early 2020s, social media crowned it the Atlantis stone, a gem that could connect the wearer to ancient wisdom and ocean energy. Prices skyrocketed. Every influencer wanted a piece of the Caribbean sky, but what comes fast fades faster. When demand exploded, so did imitation. Factories in China and Indonesia started selling dyed howlite and blue resin as Larimar type. The fakes looked flawless, uniform color, perfect polish, while true Larimar, soft and veined, appeared imperfect. Most buyers couldn't tell the difference. Within a year, the market was drowning in counterfeits. Even genuine Larimar suffered. Overmining left local veins fractured, and exports surged beyond sustainable limits. Collectors began calling it the Moldavite effect, a spiritual stone whose popularity devoured its own reputation. By 2026, market prices will have fallen by more than 60%. Once selling for $200 per piece, high-quality Larimar now struggles to reach $60. If you've ever held Larimar and felt its ocean calm pulse through your palm, tell me, do you still believe in its Atlantis magic, or has the myth washed away with the tide? Write your thoughts in the comments, because Larimar's fall isn't just about a gem. It's about how belief and beauty can both erode when the waves of the market move too fast. And as we move further up this list, one question remains. When the seas of hype retreat, which gemstones will still be standing on solid ground? Share this story in gem communities on Facebook or Reddit, because the story of Larimar isn't over. It's just sinking back to where it began, beneath the waves. Number 5, Citrine, the golden light that turned to glass. For centuries, Citrine was known as the merchant's stone, a beacon of wealth, optimism, and energy. Its golden glow reminded people of sunlight trapped in crystal, a symbol of prosperity that never faded. But as we enter 2026, that golden light has dimmed. What once carried the warmth of the sun has turned into a product of the furnace, Literally. Citrine is a variety of quartz colored by traces of iron, formed deep in the earth under heat and pressure. True natural citrine is subtle, a soft honey or pale champagne hue, rare and elegant. But in today's gemstone market, nearly every citrine you see is not natural at all. It's heat-treated amethyst, purple quartz baked in industrial ovens until it turns yellow-orange. For decades, jewelers passed off these lab-altered stones as genuine, and buyers embraced them. The color was bright, the price was low, and the spiritual story, a stone of abundance, fit perfectly into the New Age boom. But when collectors began learning the truth, trust was shattered overnight. By 2025, major retailers and certification labs openly listed treated amethyst instead of natural citrine, and the illusion collapsed. Prices followed. Natural citrine, once prized at $100 to $200 per carat, is now nearly impossible to find, buried under mountains of treated quartz selling for under $10. What was once a symbol of solar energy and success has become the gemstone world's biggest open secret. Even its spiritual market is fading, replaced by pyrite, tiger's eye, and sunstone. Stones that promise the same abundance, but with authenticity. If you've ever worn a golden citrine pendant believing it would bring luck or energy, tell me, do you still trust its warmth now that you know it came from a furnace, not the earth? Leave your thoughts below, because citrine's story is more than a market crash. It's a reminder of how easily beauty can be manufactured and how quickly faith in it can fade. And as we climb higher in this list of gemstones predicted to fall in 2026, one truth becomes impossible to ignore. The brighter the trend burns, the faster it turns to ash. Share this story in gem and jewelry groups on Facebook or Reddit, because somewhere, someone still believes their golden stone carries sunlight, not heat. Number 4, Opal, the fire that lost its flame. For generations, opal was the dream of light trapped inside stone, a living rainbow that shimmered with fire and mystery. From the deserts of Australia to the volcanic plains of Ethiopia, it was hailed as the queen of gems, symbolizing hope, passion, and imagination. But in 2026, that royal fire is flickering out. The gem, once praised for holding a storm of color, is now struggling to have its own value. Opal is a delicate creation, made not of crystals, but of millions of tiny silica spheres stacked like microscopic bubbles. When light hits them, it diffracts, creating the dancing play of color that makes opal unique. For centuries, its beauty was unmatched. Kings and artists wore it as a charm of luck and mystery. The finest lightning-ridge black opals from Australia once commanded tens of thousands of dollars per carat. Then came the flood from Ethiopia. Around 2010, the Welo mines began producing an ocean of new material, dazzling at first but hiding a fatal flaw. Unlike Australian opal, Welo opal is hydrophane. It absorbs water. Please leave it in humid air and it clouds over. Drop it in water and it will completely lose its fire. Collectors began calling it the disappearing gem. When buyers realized their once vivid stones turned dull or cracked after exposure to moisture, the panic spread. By 2025, trust in opal had fractured. Online markets were swamped with synthetic opals, resin-filled, plastic-backed, or even fully lab-made versions that imitated the fire perfectly but cost pennies. Natural miners couldn't compete. Jewelers began dropping opal from engagement designs, calling it too unstable for modern jewelry. Prices plummeted. Even quality stones that once sold for $500 to $1,000 per carat are now struggling to sell for a fraction of that. If you've ever watched an opal flash in the light and felt that pulse of magic, tell me, do you still believe in its fire, or has its legend turned to smoke? Leave your thoughts in the comments, because the fall of opal isn't just about a gemstone. It's about faith, fragility, and how beauty that changes too easily can't survive in a world that demands permanence. And as we rise toward the top of this list, one question burns brighter than ever. Is perfection worth anything if it can't last? Share this story in your favorite gem communities on Facebook or Reddit, because somewhere, Someone is still chasing the rainbow inside the stone, even as its colors fade. Number 3, blue topaz, the sky gem that became ordinary. There was a time when blue topaz felt like bottled sky, calm, pure, and endlessly deep. Its icy shimmer caught the eyes of jewelers and dreamers alike, a gemstone that promised elegance without extravagance. But in 2026, that same promise has become its downfall. What once symbolized serenity now stands as proof that even beauty can be manufactured to the point of meaninglessness. Natural blue topaz is rare, incredibly rare. Most colorless topaz forms deep in granite and volcanic rocks, and only trace radiation over millennia can give it a natural blue hue. For centuries, it was a collector's prize, especially the soft Swiss blue and the deeper London blue. Then technology stepped in. Scientists discovered that ordinary colorless topaz could be irradiated and heat-treated to produce those same vivid shades, safely, cheaply, and endlessly. By the early 2000s, the gemstone industry was flooded. Every jewelry store gleamed with flawless blue stones that looked identical. The same tone, same clarity, same cut. People loved it at first. Blue topaz became the affordable dream, selling millions of carats a year. But as the market realized almost all of it was treated, the illusion cracked. Collectors lost interest. The idea of rare beauty was gone, replaced by something mass-produced and predictable. Today, in 2026, blue topaz is facing a silent crash. It's still beautiful, but beauty alone doesn't sell anymore. Buyers want authenticity, uniqueness, and scarcity. Things blue topaz can no longer claim. Prices for standard Swiss blue stones have dropped below $5 per carat, while premium London blue stones that once fetched $80 to $100 now sell for less than $20. Jewelers have started replacing it with aquamarine, spinel, or apatite, gems with stories still untold. If you've ever worn blue topaz and felt its calm, sky-like aura, tell me, does it still feel like the real sky, or just painted glass? Leave your thoughts in the comments below, because maybe the story of blue topaz isn't about losing color. It's about losing soul. And as we move closer to the final 2 stones on this list, remember, in the world of gems, too much perfection kills desire. Share this story in your gemstone or jewelry groups on Facebook or Reddit, because the fall of blue topaz is more than a market shift. It's a warning that when everything shines, nothing stands out. Number 2, Tanzanite, the one-time miracle that's fading away. There's a saying in the gem world, when the Tanzanite runs out, it runs out forever. For decades, this violet blue treasure was celebrated as the miracle of the 20th century. Rarer than diamond, born from fire and found in only one place on Earth, the foothills of Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania. But as 2026 approaches, that miracle has begun to dim. The gem that once symbolized exclusivity is now drowning in its own abundance. Tanzanite was discovered in 1967 by a Maasai herder who stumbled upon glowing blue crystals scattered across the ground after a lightning storm. When gemologists realized it was a new variety of zoisite, the world went wild. Tiffany and Company named it Tanzanite and turned it into an instant legend. Its mesmerizing color shift from royal blue to violet under changing light became a sensation. In the early 2000s, fine stones sold for $1,000 to $1,500 per carat, and investors whispered that prices could only rise. But the prophecy broke. In the last 5 years, aggressive mining around the Marilani Hills has flooded the market. Modern tunnels now reach deeper than ever before, extracting tons of low-quality ore each month. Meanwhile, laboratories in Bangkok and Shenzhen have perfected heat treating and synthetics that mimic Tanzanite's signature hue for a fraction of the cost. The result? A market oversaturated with perfection, and perfection, once again, kills desire. By 2026, Tanzanite's value had dropped more than 60%. Mid-grade gems that once commanded hundreds of dollars now struggle to sell for under $50 per carat. Jewelers who once called it the stone of the century now quietly replace it with sapphire or spinel, gems that last, both in hardness and in trust. Even its mystique has faded. Younger buyers no longer believe in its one-mine miracle. If you've ever held a Tanzanite and watched its color shift from twilight violet to ocean blue, tell me, does it still feel like a miracle, or just another memory of hype? Leave your thoughts in the comments because the fall of Tanzanite is more than an economic story. It's a lesson in how rarity can vanish, not when a mine runs dry, but when belief does. And as we reach the final stone on this list, ask yourself, what happens when the last miracle loses its magic? Share this story across gem and collector communities on Facebook or Reddit, because the twilight of Tanzanite reminds us that even the most extraordinary light can fade when the world stops looking up to see it. Number 1. Moldavite, the cosmic stone that crashed back to Earth. It was once the wild heartbeat of the gemstone world, a glass born from a meteor's impact, forged in the split second between heaven and earth. Moldavite wasn't just a gem, it was a story, a myth, a miracle. People said it carried the energy of the stars, that it opened minds, awakened souls, and connected wearers to something greater than themselves. But by 2026, the miracle had fallen back to dust. The stone that came from the cosmos has finally been buried by its own fame. Formed about 15 million years ago in what is now the Czech Republic, Moldavite is a rare tektite, natural glass created when a meteorite struck Earth with unimaginable force. Real Moldavite carries a mossy green transparency and a wrinkled surface that feels like cooled fire. For decades, it was scarce and cherished by collectors who saw it as a piece of the universe itself. Then came the explosion, not in the sky, but online. Around 2020, Moldavite went viral on TikTok and YouTube. Spiritual influencers claimed it could change your life, manifest destiny, and even awaken past lives. Videos of emotional transformations and Moldavite miracles spread like wildfire. Prices soared overnight. Small pieces that once sold for $20 were suddenly fetching hundreds, and mining towns in the Czech Republic couldn't keep up. But hype burns hotter than any meteor. Within a year, factories in China and Thailand flooded the world with fake Moldavite, melted green glass, pressed into shape, sometimes even buried in soil to fake authenticity. The market was overwhelmed. Collectors began losing trust. Buyers who once believed in its cosmic energy started doubting everything: the sellers, the stories, even themselves. By 2025, experts estimated that over 90% of all Moldavite on the market was fake, and the crash began. Now in 2026, the same TikTok that made Moldavite famous has turned on it. Videos warning about counterfeits, scams, and energy burnout dominate the feed. Prices for genuine stones have dropped by more than 70%. The cosmic gem that once touched the stars has fallen to Earth, not because it lost its power, but because we overused its name. If you ever held a piece of Moldavite and felt its strange pull, that hum of something ancient and alive, tell me, do you still think it now? Or has the noise drowned out the mystery? Leave your thoughts in the comments because the fall of Moldavite is more than a story about money. It's about faith, obsession, and how quickly humanity can destroy the magic it craves most. And as this list ends, one question remains. When every gemstone has fallen, what will rise next to remind us that wonder can't be manufactured? Share this story with your gem community on Facebook or Reddit, because somewhere out there, beneath layers of imitation and greed, the real Moldavite still waits, quietly glowing, as if remembering the stars. Thank you for staying until the very end of this journey. Every view, every comment, every like you leave, it truly means more than words can say. If you enjoyed exploring the hidden side of gemstones with me, please consider subscribing. It's the simplest way to support this channel and help me create even more stories like this one. And remember, every gem has a story, and every story brings us a little closer to understanding the Earth itself. In the next episode, we'll travel deeper, beyond price and rarity, into the mystical world of forgotten stones and ancient legends. Until then, keep your curiosity alive and your light shining bright. This is Tops, and I'll see you in the next episode.